because useful information is actionable, and we're here to take action. Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Level Up with Lev. I am Lev, and I am super excited to bring to you the third episode, which is the first in the background work initial approach mini-season. And today I will be discussing how the truth set me free. So buckle up, I'm super excited to dive in, and I hope you are too. So in today's episode, I hope to do 4 things. 1, I would like to introduce the first mini-season, background work, the initial approach. 2, I want to discuss how honesty has been the best policy in my life when it comes to personal growth and development. I also want to discuss how the truth set me free, and finally, I'll end with some practical examples. And now to introduce the first mini-season, which is background work, the initial approach. So essentially, this will include character traits and attributes that I had to learn, work on, and embody in order to get closer to the goals that I set for myself and to improve in general. So note that the items in this mini-season are included in the background work section, not the preliminary work section. And that's because we can still make progress towards our goals without being perfect in any of these regards. So think of a stream, and if that stream is blocked up by trash or algae, it'll slow down the flow. The flow will still be there, it'll just be a little slower. So we can still make progress towards our goals, but the more we work on these things in the background, the better that flow will become. So in order to improve the flow of progress from point A to point B, I identified some character traits and attributes that I needed to work on. And so without further ado, let's get started by discussing truth. Honesty is the best policy. Now I want to start this section with a quick analogy, so bear with me for a second. Imagine that you're in a forest and you have to cross from one side to the other. You're getting from your origin to your destination, and you wear glasses. Now imagine that you have to cross this terrain that has rocks all along the ground and trees in the way, but your glasses are foggy or they're dirty. It'd be a lot harder than if you had clean glasses. And so the truth operates as a clear lens through which we can see the things in our external environment and navigate from one place to another. So if we think about the order framework, which is the 5-step framework for directed growth and change, which I described in the previous episode, the first step in the order framework is observations. So truth provides information for us to make the most useful observations in order to step through the rest of the framework. If the information that we receive is of poor quality or if it's incorrect, then that's really not going to help us make good decisions, and thus it's not going to help us move towards our goals. So if you think about the lens analogy from earlier, if the glasses that we're using are foggy, then if we go to take our next step, we might run into rocks and we might trip and fall. We might go in the wrong direction. And that's a major key when it comes to improving ourselves in any regard, providing ourselves with the most useful information in order to grow and achieve our goals. Because useful information is actionable, and we're here to take action. Now, the truth also operates as a part of a stable baseline foundation, which enables us to operate optimally and efficiently as consistently as possible, but we'll talk about that concept more in a future episode. So you might be able to see if the information that we receive isn't true, or in another case, if we are not allowing ourselves to see the truths that we need to see, then we're operating on an unstable foundation, which is not going to serve us well in our lives. And this was something that I needed to learn in my own life. So years ago, I didn't view myself in a positive light due to things that I had done in my past that I deeply regretted. Instead of coming to terms with that and seeing what I needed to see, I hid the truth from myself, and I sought ways to escape the reality that I needed to see. And the reality that I needed to see was that I wasn't on the best path in life, and I was doing things that could get me hurt or in trouble. I needed to see that there was a lot of work that I needed to do in order to improve myself and to become a person that I could be proud of. What I needed to see was that I was worth the effort required to grow and change and to become better. And so if there's one thing that I want to impart to anyone out there who needs to hear it, I don't know if that's you, but here it is. You are worth the effort required to grow and to change. And if you're looking to make a change or to grow and develop, just know that it's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy, but meaningful work is often difficult. So just know that going into it and know that you're worth it. And that provides a smooth transition into the next section, which is how the truth will set you free. And very simply, when it comes to improving yourself, the truth paves the way for positive, actionable change. Now, the truth is a very vulnerable thing by definition. It includes pieces of you at your core, what you believe, who you are. And this opens us up to criticism, or the realization of things that we might not want to hear. And if you know me, you know that I'm a big fan of psychology, specifically the Swiss psychologist Carl Jung, and he often said, in sterquilinus invenitur, which means in filth it will be found. Now, this essentially means that the thing that you're looking for is often found in the place you least want to look. And the place that I least wanted to look years ago was the truth, that I had a lot of work to do in order to become a better version of myself and to improve. So it's generally recommended to speak with trusted individuals if you're going through some things, and also seek professional help if that's something that you need, because it's cool. And so while the truth can be a scary and vulnerable thing, especially when it comes to self-truths and internal truths, it can open us up to the possibility for genuine realizations which lead to positive growth and change. And so it absolutely, in my head, outweighs the negative feelings, like fear, that are associated. Truthful observations help me to realize if something is helping me move toward or away from my goals. Now, it also allows me to see what things are within my control and outside of my control. Now, that's a tenet of Stoicism, which we'll talk about in a future episode. And now for some practical examples from my life that include truthful observations that help me to improve myself. So, the first example that I have is music. When I had a goal set to become more positive at a baseline level, I was looking at things in my external environment. I realized that when I was feeling upset, I would listen to music that perpetuated those sad feelings as opposed to doing anything else that would allow me to get outside of those feelings. So it kind of became an echo chamber and provided a two-way feedback loop that when I was sad, I would listen to sad music, which in turn made me feel sad as well and allowed those feelings to stir, as opposed to seeking out stimuli that would help to mitigate those sad feelings. Or even further, realizing that there was something in those feelings, some information in those feelings that I needed to attend to. Perhaps there was some underlying mechanism behind me being sad in those moments or not feeling great in those moments that I needed to address, a deeper cause. And that was a major key. Now, that is just a small piece of the puzzle. There were obviously other things that I did as well, but it was a piece nonetheless, an important one. It was something in my external environment that was influencing me, thus having an impact on my ability to reach my goals and improve. And we'll talk more about the importance of influences in the future. If there's something that you'd like to stop doing, for example, if you'd like to stop drinking, one thing that you can do is observe, whenever I hang out with this person, all we do is drink, or all we do is go to the bar. And if your goal is to stop drinking, then that truthful observation will help you to make future realizations and decisions. Now, there are 3 different ways that I categorize observations and realizations. I mean, there are more ways, but here are 3 simple ones: mistake-based, skills-based, and problem-based. Now, the first category includes mistake-based observations and realizations. And so if I'm truthful here, then I take accountability and responsibility for my role in the mistake, and then I can move towards rectifying the situation and doing what I need to do in order to make it better. Now, the second category includes skills-based observations and realizations. And if I'm truthful in this regard, then, for example, that might include me saying, I have no idea how video editing works or audio editing, which then provides me with the information needed in order to develop those skills. And finally, for problem-based observations and realizations. If I'm truthful here, I leave myself with 2 options essentially. 1, I can choose to ignore the problem. Or 2, I can take steps required in order to alleviate and rectify the issue. And hint, option number 2 is usually the better path. So in all of these cases, the point that I really want to drive home is that the truth allows you to see your situation in a light that allows you to take action that will help you move in a positive direction. Also, the truth can help us acknowledge things that we want. For example, I want to live a meaningful life. Or I want to be treated with respect. Perhaps I want to have a family, or I want to leave a positive impact on others. Or in my 7th grade case, I've been sent to detention 4 times this year. I don't want to get detention anymore. Now, no matter what the case is, truth-based observations and realizations put you in a position to specify what it is that you want, something that you want to attain or something that you want to avoid, and then it places you in the position to specify what actions do I need to take in order to get this thing that I want or avoid this thing that I don't want, and then just do it. So I hope I've adequately conveyed the concept that the truth serves as a clear lens through which we're able to make unfiltered observations of phenomena in our lives, which serve as a stable baseline foundation for us to step through the order framework to grow and change in ways that we would like. And so that is the end of our time together. This has been episode 3 of Level Up with Lev, where I shared how the truth has set me free. And if you liked this episode, let me know. If you didn't like this episode, let me know. If you have any thoughts at all, reach out to me. I've had a couple people reach out with some of their thoughts, and I really, really, really appreciate that. I've tried my best to incorporate it here in this episode and will continue to do so as feedback comes in. So feel free to reach out to me wherever you can find me at Level Up with Lev on the different platforms like Facebook, Instagram, X, Spotify, YouTube, all the platforms. And if you like this episode, feel free to give it a like. If you like the show, follow the show on whatever platform you're listening to. Maybe subscribe if you feel so inclined, and maybe give it a rating. Either way, I appreciate your time, and I'll talk to you in the next episode.